All right, shalom, shalom. Hey, first and foremost, I'll say Kahalaim Light, Hawa, Hashem Yoshai, Hashem Kakodash Shalom, Wabla Grand Rising. And yeah, the honors to you, man, that's doing his work, true sincerity. All right, and peace citation to you, elect. Yeah, so Becky spills the beans on the satanic ritual that is feminism. All right, the poison that is this feminism bullshit that the serpent concocted, going all the way back to the garden, that has the world in the state that it's in right now. See, when the scripture say Revelation 6 that the Lord gave this devil power to take peace from the earth through the sword, through philosophy, through wine. All right, Revelation 17 speaks about. Matter of fact, let's begin with this. Revelation 17:1 now. And there came one of the seven angels that had the seven vials and talked with me, saying unto me, Come hither. And I will show unto thee the judgment of the great whore that sitteth upon many waters, upon many peoples, with whom the kings of the earth have committed fornication, and the inhabitants of the earth have been made drunk with the wine of her fornication. And he carried me away in the spirit into the wilderness, and I saw a woman upon a scarlet-colored beast, full of names of blasphemy, having 7 heads and 10 horns. And the woman was arrayed in purple and scarlet color, and decked with gold, precious stones, and having a golden cup in her hand, full of abominations and the filthiness of her fornication. So Becky, all right, like I said the other day, redacted, they're compromised, but you got to spit the meat, chew the meat and spit out the bones. This right here is a fantastic video. All right, they're going to go into all this, and we're going to get as much as we can from this, man. All right, so Becky, their own tongues fall upon themselves.
Is a descendant of demon worship, the CIA. Modern feminism is a descendant of demon worship, the CIA, religious politicians, and sex cults, according to my next guest. Rachel Wilson tells an alternate story of the feminist movement in her book, Occult Feminism, The Secret History of Women's Liberation. Now, I find this really shocking. I feel like I have been a victim of this in my life, and I am just sort of reading my way out of it. That's why I wanted to speak to her so badly. She says that feminism is actually not a grassroots movement at all. It is not the will of the people. It is a well-funded project of globalist and banking elites. She can link it in her book to the Rothschilds, the Vanderbilts, the Rockefellers, the Hearsts. She even makes a connection between...
The small hatter? The small hatter. See, we're going to come to find out that motherfucker's behind everything, Playboy. Baby girl, you're going to find out that the small hatter has robbed you of your essence as a woman. Has made you to work like a man, right? Has made you to believe in a lie that, hey, well, I don't need no nigga, What the hell is a nigga? And what is a man? All right. Fuck that, I'm good by myself. In a society, right, where here it is, you could order Uber Eats and you could simp, you guys simps send you money for feet pictures and shit. Hey, but in the real world, you in the scriptures it tells you that you're supposed to be married. Why? Because you wouldn't fucking survive without no man. All right. You wouldn't survive. You would get raped, robbed, and murdered by other men. All right. This is just how it goes. You'll be somebody's slave, or you'll be somebody's a slave, or you'll be their wife. Either in society, there wasn't this whole fucking thing where women went up there and became presidents, and they was senators, and they was running around doing all this bullshit. They wasn't doing all that, man. They was in order. Yes, they had, they could read and write and all that, right? But this is the breakdown of society. You destroy the woman. That's how you break down society, because then nobody raising the kids. Nobody's raising these women to be women and these men to be men. All right. They're not getting the proper education in the household, man. And this is Esau is doing. The scripture says, Sirach, the 10th chapter, the government of the prudent man is well ordered. So this government of the Edomite is man on man, women on women, right? The nuclear family totally nuked. So she said that feminism is a satanic philosophy, all right, occult practice, and she could be linked directly with the Rothschilds. Let me play from the beginning again. And this is Becky right here talking about Rachel Wilson, occult feminism, the secret history of women's liberation. All right.
Modern feminism is a descendant of demon worship, the CIA, religious politicians.
Demon worship, the CIA, politicians. What all this got to do with the devil? No. Your government don't worship the devil. Nah, your government is not into satanic rituals, and they're secular. All they care about is, secular things, man. Things of the world. They don't believe in the spiritual and the supernatural, even though they put all this shit in the movies 24/7. 24/7. That bullshit is in the movies. It's in everywhere. All you see is motherfucking movies about spiritual demons and fucking Ouija boards, but they don't believe in the occult. That's some conspiracy theory.
Modern feminism is a descendant of demon worship, the CIA, religious politicians, and sex cults, according to my next guest. Rachel Wilson tells an alternate story of the feminist movement, history of women's liberation. Now, I find this really shocking. I feel like I have been a victim of this in my life, and I am just sort of reading my way out of it. That's why I wanted to speak to her so badly. She says that feminism is actually not a grassroots movement at all. It is not the will of the people. It is a well-funded project of globalist and banking elites. She can link it in her book.
A well-funded project by the feminists, by the elite, right? A well-funded project to destroy, divide, and conquer. That's how you do order out of chaos, right?
To the Rothschilds, the Vanderbilts, the Rockefellers, the Hearsts. She even makes a connection between the McCormicks and the royal family, namely Harry and Meghan. It reads like a who's who of globalists, and this is a history that is kept from well-intended feminists. Now, I think I went through a very progressive education, viewing women's history as a story of oppression, viewing men as the enemy, elevating girl boss narratives, and then eventually rejecting Christianity in favor of paganism, thinking, this is the mental trap.
Yeah. They rejected Christianity because everyone sees that Christianity is some bunch of bullshit. Right? Plus, the word of the Lord is only towards the Lord's elect. So when people look at this, they see that all these churches are bullshit, right? So they see you teaching the Bible, and then they see, man, that's bullshit. What are you talking about? The people, their mind is so warped, right, by the lies and the world. As it says, Isaiah 60:2, gross darkness shall cover the people.
I think that anyone who believes in religion is trapped in this sort of oppressive mind trap. And then you use academia as a fetish to elevate yourself above others. This is my story. I'm embarrassed by it. That's why I'm so, motivated by a book like this to tell the whole story, not a distorted reality of a female trap. And I think what started to break me of this mindset was a few things. One is realizing how progressives weaponize feminism. They elevate perversion, sexual perversion. And then when you start to see these elements of witchcraft, like at Target, I brought a few screenshots, like a Ouija shirt at Target, you think to yourself, this may not be an organic movement. This looks like a cultural project designed to promote social disruption. I seriously doubt it's really empowering anyone. So I want to introduce you to the work of Rachel Wilson. Thank you so much for joining me. And I think that, your book is just fascinating. I'd like to begin with a sort of broader discussion of the globalist intentions behind feminism, and then move towards your lens as a Christian as well. Did I get anything wrong in that introduction?
No, I think that was pretty spot on. And it's kind of funny when you have to distill it down, it sounds pretty crazy. And I will admit it sounds pretty crazy, which is why I took 2.5 years of really carefully researching, making sure I was using primary sources, mostly the writings of the feminists themselves and the people who funded the movement themselves in their own words, because this is a narrative that all of us were raised with. You shouldn't be too hard on yourself, because this is the story we've all been told, and nobody's really ever heard anything else. And there's a reason for that we'll get to. But yeah, if you're going to kind of destroy such a popular narrative, you'd better make sure that you've got your facts straight and that you're not being biased or anything like that. So when I started researching for the book, I first went after the connections that you wanted to talk about first, which is things like who funded this, you know, because most of the big, even like the civil rights movements, most of the big social movements and the big revolutions of the last couple hundred years are not grassroots. When you look into them, you always inevitably find that behind these things, these movements take money. Just like we know that right now, a lot of the people who go out and do certain protests are paid. There's, you know, George Soros and the Open Society is often funding these things and busing people into cities in order to, you know, start these protests and get them going. It was the same thing with the suffrage movement. It wasn't this organic groundswell of women who just really wanted to be involved in politics and really wanted to be able to have voting rights. And so they, you know, organically took to the streets and began marching. It didn't happen that way at all. In fact, Susan B. Anthony and Elizabeth Cady Stanton, the two titans of women's suffrage, in their own history of women's suffrage, are forced to admit that it was deeply unpopular with women, and that if the question had been left up to women, women's liberation would have never happened at all. And they tell you that their early support came from progressive men, especially wealthy industrialists, and from socialists, Marxists, people who wanted to legalize prostitution, people who wanted a lot of new cheap labor. We're talking about the
That's it. That shit's basically legal. It's called porn. It's called OnlyFans. It's called the culture that we live in. Simping. All right. Don't nobody get arrested for that shit, man. You know? Porn.
An age of industrialization in the United States, railroad titans of industry, who are
Hey, Jeremiah 31:22, real quick. How long would that go, or that backsliding daughter? For the Lord Yahweh Shem Ashai have created a new thing, a woman can pass a man. Feminism.
trying to, through immigration, even back then, get a lot of cheap labor into the country, and you just couldn't get enough people here fast enough. And they wanted to mobilize women and get them into the workforce as cheap labor. So I started really researching that angle, and that's what we can kind of talk about first, is why these things were funded by those people, especially the founding of gender studies programs in universities, which were created in the late 60s.
What the fuck is a gender study, man? Ain't nothing but Adam and Eve, man. Ain't nothing but man and woman. What gender studies? What the fuck gender studies? You got see, Esau got all this knowledge, right? All these fields of study. And he can't tell you basically what's a man and a woman. So what knowledge does he have? The knowledge of wickedness is not the counsel of sinners, is in no time prudence. They'll tell you in the Apocrypha, man.
Ford Foundation with help from the Rockefeller Foundation and the Carnegie.
Ooh, the Rockefellers always behind something, man. Yeah. Hey, like the comment says right here, it says, all roads lead to the bankers. Occult feminism. All right, all roads lead to the bankers. These people, all right, that be on these different pages. They're like us in the so-called truth community, right? But they don't have the whole unction from the Holy One, know all things. 1 John 2:20. We have the unction to know all things, man.
So.
Okay, let's tell some kind of shocking stories because I would love for everyone to read your book, but also I just want to give a little juicy tidbits so that our audience is motivated to do that. And I think we find ourselves at a time when there is sort of a rejection of this, and it's a fascinating time.
Why are they now rejecting the feminism? Because they see that shit don't fucking work, man. They see that these women are miserable. All right. Through feminism, it made these women miserable. They're single. They got STDs. They got all kind of kids that they didn't fucking ask for. But they don't know what the fuck they're doing. These women need to be up under a man for their own fucking good, man. All right. A man of understanding. First and foremost, a man of understanding. As the scriptures tell you, if you have a daughter, give her to a man of understanding. You have performed a weighty matter. That's the most important fucking thing in her life. A man. Without a man, that she's fucked. But the feminism has giving her this sense of grandeur and shit, you know. Oh, yeah, whatever, you know, whatever. You don't need shit. You could just have. Oh, even a kid, you could just get a in vitro insemination, and you don't even need the man. You could just take his sperm. You don't need him. When that child is born, all right, who gonna raise that child? Who gonna make him to a man? Huh? Who gonna be there to guide the house, man? Who gonna be there to make sure that you don't get emotional and kill yourself when you're depressed? Okay? But a man is the pillar, man. The scripture tell you that the foundation of the house is built upon the man. The curse of the mother root out foundations. This is the curse of the mother, feminism. Okay? Let's get there, man. The curse of the mother root out foundations. Okay, the Lord said, he that overcometh, Revelation 3:12, I'll make a pillar in the temple of my God. The pillar start with the man, with Samson, with David, with, you know what I'm saying? With the man, the pillar of the house, man. The pillar of the house. The chief cornerstone being Yahweh Shai, obviously over the whole body of the church in Israel. But I'm talking about the nuclear family in the house. A man is necessary, man. That's the building block of the house. The woman has her place, very necessary. The compliment that the Lord made as a help me. But this feminism shit that this evil Edomite came to Eve in the garden, as it says in Colossians 2:7 on down, it says that I fear lest you be spoiled through philosophy, all right, and vain deceit, after the traditions of men, right? As the serpent beguiled Eve. So Sirach 3, let's get that, man. See, this bullshit has enveloped all the minds of these people. Your grandma, your auntie, your mama, all right, them bitches that you meet in college and university, they all in this fucking mindset. Unless their parents raised them up in some type of biblical setting, you know, or something like that, where they believe in God, quote unquote. But other than that, they're gonna have this feminist mindset where they think they better than you, or they equal to you, or they can talk shit to you and fuck you, I can replace you. And this is all done on a systematic level. The artists are paid to push this bullshit, the celebrities, the entertainers, everybody's under this mind fuck from the Edomite, from going back to the garden. This ain't nothing new. This ain't Gloria Steinem or the CIA in the 50s, or no. This goes back to the garden, man. Sirach 3 and verse 8, honor thy father and thy mother, both in word and deed, that a blessing may come upon thee from them. For the blessing of the father established the house of children, but the curse of the mother root out foundations. The blessing of the father established the household, man. Okay? This is why Esau, if you want to be on the government, whatever it is, hey, the nigga can't be around. On paper, all right? If you say that, hey, you know what I'm saying, you have a man, you know what I'm saying, whatever, hey, well, boom, we ain't gonna help you. That's it. If you want a place to stay, you gotta kick that nigga out of there. You know? That's the MO of the serpent.
Lived long enough for the Sex and the City girls to become cautionary tales. And I'm so happy to be here, although, you know, I was in my 20s at the time and found them motivating, and I'm embarrassed to say that. So let's start with, let's see, it's like literally a pick a card. Let's start with Margaret Sanger, the mother of birth control, who lied about her mother's death.
Margaret Sanger, the mother of birth control. Now, somebody will argue where birth control is a good thing. Birth control is a good thing. Birth control is a good thing. Birth control was made to euthanize the women, all right, so they could be infertile, all right, so they could bring forth no fruit, especially targeted towards the Israelite community, man, because those are the main ones that's be in that clinic aborting them kids, all right.
You say, and had a child die of abandonment of pneumonia while she was off sowing her wild roots. This is a story that every feminist should hear before they get super excited about birth control as freedom.
Yes, exactly. So a lot of people have already heard some of the disparaging and awful things that Sanger had to say about those she felt were the dredges of society, poor people, Black people, indigenous people. There was all kinds of groups that she thought should not be reproducing. And she was she's a great classic tale of how they picked these women and pushed them to the forefront and used them as the poster children for feminism to give this impression that it's women demanding this, that women are the ones saying, hey, we need political equality with men. We need more power. We've been oppressed historically, because she started as a midwife for a very short period of time. She was in nursing, and her own biographers who love her, they're fans of hers. They want to portray this, positive image of her. But even they say that, some of the stories she told about, like a young woman that she helped to get an abortion early on who kept getting pregnant. And she would say, I don't know how I'm getting pregnant. Like, women back then just didn't know how this happened. It was just this mystery that they kept getting pregnant and nobody would tell them how to avoid it. And that she saw, this poor young woman die from overbirth. She told these really salacious stories that would really tug at your heartstrings. And her own biographers say there is no evidence of these people ever existing. There's no record of the people she talks about in her stories ever having existed at all. And that she told a story of her mother dying from what she called overbirth, this idea that you just have so many children that the female body just breaks down and can't handle it and you die. Not true at all. Her mother died of tuberculosis, like just about everybody else did around the turn of the century. Very common. So she was willing to lie about her own mother's death. She was willing to lie about stories of women that she had supposedly helped, and wrote a whole book that was supposed to contain thousands of letters from women around the country and around the world, begging her to help them because they wanted to stop having so many babies. She, again, really salacious, overblown stories about women who are maybe only 25 and they're on their 10th child, things like this. And that there was just no access to information. And this is why we needed to overturn the Comstock laws and have birth control. I contacted the Margaret Sanger Papers Foundation myself. I emailed them and said, you guys have everything Margaret Sanger's ever done. If she sneezed into a napkin, you guys have it somewhere, preserved in a university. Where can I see these letters? And out of the thousands of letters she received, they say they only have 3.
Oh my, okay. I find 3. That to be what I call the hag phenomenon. I can't remember the author of the woman who wrote the book Hags, is like, we believe that every generation before us was idiots and only we get it right. And so we pity our mothers. They just didn't know what we know. And you say you talk to your own ancestors and they're like, yes, we knew how to avoid getting pregnant. We are not idiots. We sort of, I really don't like that. What the story that I didn't know that maybe other people do is that Margaret Sanger fled to Europe to avoid arrest. And while she was abroad, she shoved her kids in boarding school and one of them died of pneumonia. And she blamed herself for that. That's not, how can we make her a feminist icon, someone who abandoned her child to die in boarding school? I feel like that's a really big story that's kept from us.
Yeah. Oh, there's a ton. There's so many things that are kept from us that's why I felt compelled. I've got to write a book, because if people knew these things, I don't think they'd have the same perception of this movement as some wholesome groundswell of, grassroots rights for women, that it was really out of care for women and children that feminism came about. It's actually the opposite. In fact, I found when I was
it's actually the opposite. Genesis 3:1. Now the serpent was more subtle than any beast of the field, more cunning, more crafty, more of a shapeshifter, a slithery bastard. Of all the nations on the earth, all right, who came up with this bullshit? The Chinese, the Iranians. The Iranians came up with the Persians. They came up with what you call modern day calculus and all that shit, man. They actually came up with shit that's actually beneficial to society. But the Edomite, he came up with feminism and guns and drugs and cocaine and all right, Crown Vicky viruses and shit. All right, that's what he came up with. See, Esau can't do nothing good, man. Even if he tried. All right, and everything else he took from the other nations, including Jacob. He took all the inventions that we made, the internet, everything, man. We didn't created all this stuff, man. You know, writing, reading. All right, he calls Jake illiterate. All right, he wouldn't know how to wipe his ass when he came here to the shores of Arsarif, America. He didn't know nothing. He didn't know a damn thing. All right, all this shit he didn't culturally appropriated from everybody else. Even the religions, the gods he worships, the so-called demons that he worships, right? The spirits on the left-hand side he worships. When he be talking to Satan, he got that from the Hamites in it, man. You know, going back to ancient Babylonian and Egyptian religions. You know, nothing new under the sun. He harnessed the power of ancient Egypt and today in the new Egypt. That's why it says we're going to be delivered from the house of bondage. In Deuteronomy 28:68, no man shall buy thee, no man shall redeem thee. The Lord's going to do it. He's going to get us out of the house of bondage. So now the serpent was more subtle than any beast of the field. The beasts of the field are the nations, which the Lord had made. And he said unto the woman, yea, have the Most High Abba Shem Ashai said, ye shall not eat of every tree of the garden. And the woman said unto the serpent, we may eat of the fruit of the trees of the garden, but of the fruit of the tree which is in the midst of the garden, the Most High Abba Shem Ashai have said, ye shall not eat of it, neither shall ye touch it, lest ye die. And the serpent said unto the woman, ye shall not surely die, right? If you come nigh wild beasts, the Lord told you, you're going to get bit. You're going to die. Who would pity the charmer that's bitten by the serpent or such as come nigh wild beasts? Sirach 12. Let's get that around about 16. What is it? That's why you niggas, you go into that man's army, you do this, you do that. Okay, you become entertainers. You get up there. Hey, you're going to get bit by the serpent, man. You're going to get bit by the serpent. It says, who would pity, Sirach 12, matter of fact, this the 13th verse. Who would pity a charmer that's bitten with a serpent or such any as come now wild beasts? So one that goeth to a sinner and is defiled with him and his sins, who would pity? For why he will abide with thee, but if thou begin to fall, he will not tarry. An enemy speaks sweetly with his lips, but in his heart he imagine how to overthrow thee into the pit. He will weep with his eyes, but if he find opportunity, he will not be satisfied with blood. If adversity come upon thee, thou shalt find him there first. And though he pretend to help thee, yet he shall undermine thee. He will shake his head and clap his hands and whisper much and change his countenance. All right, so there you go. Who will pity the charmer that come in nine wild beasts? Now, the beast, the serpent, was more subtle than any beast of the field, right? Now it says, Genesis 3:3, but of the fruit of the tree which is in the midst of the garden, the Most High Abba Shem Ashai have said, ye shall not eat of it. You're not going to eat of this devil's philosophies or his ways. Neither shall you touch it, because you shall die. And the serpent said unto the woman, ye shall not surely die. For the Most High Abba Shem Ashai doth know that in the day ye eat thereof, your eyes shall be open, and ye shall be as gods, knowing both good and evil. Now, that's a half truth right there. Because to know good and evil is to be a god. The Most High deals with both sides. He controls Satan, he controls Michael and them, he controls the angels, King David, us, right? He controls we're the right-hand side. Esau is controlled too, the other nations, the heathen, right? So the knowledge of good and evil was a half truth. Because, yeah, you're going to be like guys, but you're going to have to go through all kind of hell to get to you know what I'm saying? Understanding the knowledge of evil. Because we only knew good back then. All we knew was good. You didn't have no evil eye towards your brothers. You didn't talk shit about nobody. You didn't want to covet your man's possessions. You didn't think about none of that shit. You didn't get jealous, or you know what I'm saying. You didn't get an evil thought in your head, man. You didn't think about no fucking wickedness. Okay, you didn't think about none of that. All you knew was good, like a baby. You know, like a baby. All he knows is good. They don't know nothing about no stabbing nobody or robbing a nigga or doing none of that shit. They didn't know nothing about it. Jake and them. They didn't know nothing about that. The serpent comes along with his venom. It said, tell you Psalms 140:3. All right. It speaks about this man's venom. So you didn't know nothing about that. So it was a half truth. All right, a half truth. Because yeah, you will be gods, knowing both good and evil, but you're gonna go through all kind of hell because this man cast a stumbling block before you. All right, the Edomite, which had to happen because it was a part of the Lord's plan. But anyways, it says the 6th verse. And when the woman saw that the tree was good for food and that it was pleasant to the eyes and a tree to be desired to make one wise, she took of the fruit thereof and did eat and gave also unto her husband with her, and he did eat. So the scriptures tell you not to give your strength onto the woman. Why? Because she's the weaker vessel, man. All right. You don't follow her in her ways because she don't know what the hell she's doing half the time. All right. Sad to say, but it's the truth. As you see that it tell you First Timothy, the 2nd chapter. It says, but I suffer not a woman to teach, nor to usurp the authority over the man, but to be in silence. The Lord will judge you. Okay. For Adam was first formed in Eve. And Adam was not deceived, but the woman was deceived, being in the transgression. Notwithstanding, she shall be saved in childbearing if they continue in faith and charity with holiness, with sobriety. So Adam was not deceived, but the woman being deceived was in the transgression, as we read in Genesis 3. Now, let's go back to the video. All right, so this is the serpent right here. This is Becky telling you about what the serpent did. Psalm 64:8. All right. I will cause their own tongues to fall upon themselves. So we've been lied to. We've been manipulated by the serpent. How many lessons can be learned from this? You follow your man, okay? You follow the Lord. You follow the truth, all right? You have a commandment. The Lord told you, do not eat of the serpent's venom. Do not worship other gods. Do not go and be booty warriors. A man and a woman. That's it. He didn't say go and get a sex change. He didn't say none of that shit. He didn't say that. He said be fruitful and multiply. He said, husband, love your wives. The woman, honor her husband, reverence her husband. Listen to the man. If not, you're going to get fucked up as you is now. Jeremiah 31:22, the prophecy says that a woman can pass a man, meaning you usurp that man's authority. You'll go above and beyond him, and that's not your position. And as you see, the world is falling the fuck apart because of this very fact. The world is totally falling apart, man. The women are miserable under feminism. All right, they're bugged out. All too many sexual partners, you know, too many niggas that know about them, been in them, you know, and they thought that was the way to go to be. You know, that was hey, shit, you know, hey, you know, hey, I'm a bad bitch, and you know, niggas want me and shit, and you know, yeah, they want to destroy you. They destroy your ass, and then they leave, and then you all fucked up afterwards, man. That's feminism for you, man. That's feminism for you. But see, the way of truth shall be evil spoken of. They think that hey, being a Proverbs 31 woman is an oppression. That's oppressive, man. You taking away my freedoms, you know. Oh, you don't want me to go and live my best life, you know. Well, go and do it. Then you're going to come back all fucked up at 40 years old with like 6 STDs and 6 kids and 666 spirits on you, man. And by that time, no nigga wants your fucking ass, man. Unless you get a loser, you know. That's why it says marry your daughter, man. Keep a sure watch over a shameless daughter, man. Lest she destroy herself through overmuch liberty, man. And this is the overmuch liberty right here. Feminism, the world. Overmuch liberty, man. You might say, oh, well, it's not fair because you men, you get look. The Most High set up an order. All right. It's not fair. You see, you can do this and you can do that. The Lord has a reason for doing everything, man. You cannot compare one and another. No, well, see, niggas, all this, look, you gotta understand the will of the Lord, man. Okay, well, you could do this, and why you can't? Okay, go and do what men do. Go and do what the men do, and even what the men do ain't right. I'm talking about all this extra shit they do. Yes, a man can have many women if he could take care of them, you know, but you don't look at this as like, you know, oh well. I want to be a man, and look. The Lord made you a woman for a reason, all right. And the Lord made that man a man, and He set up His laws, His statutes, and His commandments. You know, that's why these chicks they turn to dykes because they want to be dudes. You know, they want to be dudes, and then they find out that being a dude is not that all that they thought it was. You know? Now, anyway, Sirach 26:10, if thy daughter be shameless, keep her in straitly, unless she abuse herself through overmuch liberty. Watch over her with an impudent eye, and marvel not if she trespass against thee. She will open her mouth as a thirsty travailer. Little young, she gonna start young. She gonna start sending pictures to niggas. She gonna start doing shit with niggas in the bathroom. Okay, you better watch your daughter. She gonna start getting thick. She gonna start getting titties. Her hormones gonna be exploding. That's why you marry young. You marry her. You marry her to a man of understanding, so that she doesn't go through 60 bodies by the time she's 21. You know, by the time she's 18, these women already have 2-3 kids. They've already been through all kind of shit in life. By the time they hit 30, they're depressed. They're ready to kill themselves. Okay, because they've been through so much shit. All right, you're supposed to grow gradually, man. You're supposed to get married, have kids, you know, experience certain things. You ain't supposed to know all this shit, how to have fucking threesomes and foursomes and being, you know what I'm saying, bro? These women, they're not built for this, man. They're not fucking built for this, bro. It's gonna fuck up their heads. It's gonna destroy them. By the time they get 30 plus years old, you can see these women, they're totally destroyed, man. 40, like Vivica Fox, still trying to be, you know, 40, 50, you know, because they've been through so much shit, so much liberal ass lifestyle they've been living, man. You know, they don't respect the man, they don't respect God, they don't respect nothing. They don't respect the scriptures, they don't have no class, you know, they're like a bunch of loudmouth bitches, you know, bird brains. They have no knowledge and wisdom, okay, no understand, no discretion. Because they didn't been around this environment, man. They didn't been with who knows how many niggas, who knows how many spirits they got on them, you know. And then this culture passes around to the kids, to the other people. You know what I'm saying? And it's just normalized, man. It's normal. It's normal for you to have 4 kids from different niggas. It's normal for you to sit there and talk about your body count. And, oh yeah, man. Well, 20 guys ain't much, huh? 20 niggas ain't much. 15 ain't much. The Lord cursed out that one woman for having 5. Oh, that's not. You get one nigga, he'll give your ass AIDS. One nigga you run into the wrong nigga. You talking about the man's not important, this and that. Run into one of these niggas, they give your ass AIDS. You done. One nigga. Here it is, these women running around spreading their shit, letting niggas pop them raw and shit. What kind of fucking shit is this? This is the society we live in, man. All right? This is the society we live in, man. This is why this place has to be destroyed. This is why it's Sodom and Gomorrah, man. But none of these people understand this because they're not the man of the Lord. They're not the prophets. Well, here it is. Hey, you got these people with a certain level of understanding, right? Like these redacted people, certain they bring out certain information, but they can't wrap it all together with the scriptures, man. This is the Most High doing this, man. The Most High set up these devils. He set up the Satan. He set up Esau and them to bring about this confusion on the earth, man. When the Lord said he's not the author of confusion, all right, he set up these Edomites, man, to bring up these things, man. He set up the spiritual demon Satan. He set up the white man. He set up these heathen to bring about all these philosophies to show you, hey, this is why you keep my laws. This is why you do what I say. Because if not, hey, your ass can get AIDS. All right. If you don't listen to what I say, nigga, your ass could get chlamydia, HIV, all this other shit that's out there, man. If you don't listen to me, I'm gonna take your fucking hair from you and I'm gonna make you a slave under the Edomite. That's it. You think you know better than me? Okay. All right. Well, figure it out. Figure it out. I'm not your guy and you are not my people. Esau's your guy and he gonna give you all kind of bullshit. That's your lover. That's your husband.
All these,
and they didn't convince these people that it's wicked as hell. They didn't convince you that it's like shameful. It's like you're a dumb bitch because you're up under a man. You're a dumb bitch. See, you're a dummy. Loser. You're a loser. Why don't you be like Lotto, one of these bitches? Why don't you be like Cardi C? Bitches all depressed. They're all depressed. All these hoes are all fucked up. They're all depressed. They got to put on them. They got to buy 1 million Chanel bags and Birkin bags so they can feel good about themselves. They got to take a bunch of pictures. When they go home, when they sit there at night, they crying themselves to sleep. They're broken inside, man. They're fucking totally shattered inside, man. They look on the outward appearance. These people look like they're happy. They're not fucking happy. Feminism has never made anybody happy, man. They're miserable, crying, broken inside because they don't know what the fuck is going on. If you get a man, if you have a man of understanding, that's a blessing. That's a blessing of the Most High. Where is that at? Where you see these? I see nothing but Pookies and Ray Rays walking around the earth. I see nothing but motherfucking gangster niggas, Edomites, heathens. That's all I see. The scriptures say if you get a daughter, give her to a man of understanding, man. That have performed a weighty matter, man. That's a weighty matter. That's the most important thing in a woman's life. They're not school, not this and that. A man of understanding. Now that's the most important thing in a woman's life. Who gonna put that rod in her? That's because she's gonna go and get somebody. She's gonna start itching and she's gonna find somebody. She has to be up under a man, man. So that when she gets that itch, hey, she has her husband. Because she's gonna call somebody a booty call, like Will I Am says. She's gonna call somebody at 2 a.m. in the morning. He gonna come over there with his diseased dick and gonna give her some bullshit. No, I don't have sex with nobody. You was a lying bitch. You stop lying, man. I don't have sex with nobody. I don't. Look, all these women are smashing. They have to have a husband. The woman deals with that husband, deals with that one man. That's her job. That's how she keeps herself from these diseases, from the world, from having multiple, spirits in her, man. She has a husband. Then you'll say, oh, well, this man's dealing with that. No. There's no STDs if the man is dealing with his wives. There's no STDs. Where's the STDs coming from? Where's the STDs coming from? It comes from popping other men's women. That's where it comes from being a mo. That's where you get STDs from doing it with other men, doing weird shit with other men, mixing the seed with another man's woman. That's where STDs come from. But if you have 4 wives or whatever, and here it is, you dealing with them, where's the STD coming from? There's no STD coming from there. The STD comes from you fucking this one, that one. You going to Houston, fucking this one. You going to North Carolina. You're going to fucking goddamn New York, Shanghai, Thailand, here, there, Mexico, and there it goes. You spreading all kind of diseases and shit, But if a man has 3, 4 wives, where's the disease coming from? You going to California, fucking Utah, you going to NYC, and you catching all. That's where diseases come from, man. Whoredom, mixing of seeds. You popping another man's woman. You going in another man's woman, and he laid his seed up in there, whatever he was doing, and then boom, you catch whatever the fuck he had, man. Whatever he put in that woman. That's why the Lord lets you in this life catch all this shit so you can learn. Eventually, he's going to give us a new body. But because these bodies are diseased, man. All these people have diseases, man. All of them, 90+% of these people have diseases. Somehow, some way. They got some type of disease, man. And most of it is sexually transmitted. How? Why does that happen? It's not because of a man having multiple wives. It's because of whoredom. It's because of prostitution. All right? It's because of that's why the scriptures say, prostitute not your daughter, except the land fall to whoredom. Why? Because it's going to bring forth diseases, death, confusion. Sirach 42, man. And it says 8, be not ashamed to inform the wise and foolish, unwise and foolish, in the extreme age that contend with those that are young. Thus thou shalt be truly learned and approved of all men living. The father waketh for the daughter, and when no man knoweth, and the care for her taketh away sleep. When she is young, lest she pass away the flower of her age. And being married, lest she should be hated. What that mean? See, in the ancient world, a man will return his wife. If the bitch is defiled, look, you take her back. You're supposed to give me a virgin. That's what that means. Here it is. Lest she pass away the flower of her age. Meaning when she turns into a virgin, you're supposed to take care of that, because as soon as she loses that shit, her value drops dramatically, man. You'll be lucky in the ancient world if somebody would take her after somebody done popped her. I don't want that. I don't want that. You know? In the ancient world, there's a different set of rules. Now in this world, shit. I mean, one of them virgins, no more. I mean, unless you get them at 14, which is illegal, you know, in this society. Unless you get them at 15, 16, but even then, they're already smashing in the bathroom. They smashing on the back of the bus, you know? They smashing some older nigga in his car, you know? So it says, lest she pass away the flower of her age, and being married, lest she should be hated. In her virginity, lest she should be defiled and gotten with child in her father's house. Having a husband, lest she should misbehave herself. When she is married, lest she should be barren. A lot of times why these women can't have kids is because they shit is all destroyed inside. They didn't have so many abortions and took so many fucking pills and took so much goddamn damn shots that their shit is just destroyed. You know? And that was what they were talking about right there with the birth control thing in the beginning. So it says, keep a sure watch, the 11th verse, over a shameless daughter, lest she make thee a laughing stock to thy enemies. You know why these people are laughing at Jake? Well, all these people are whores, and you know the other nations, they're whores too, and but they laugh at us, right? We're a laughing stock to our enemies because our women are the ones on the pole, in the strip club, in the pole, man. You go to any strip club, you're gonna see Jake women up in there shaking that big old ass. You know, shaking that money maker, like Ludacris said, man. Shake the money maker like somebody gotta pay her. You know, so stand next to the money. You know, this is gonna be your women up in there. The Mexican woman, she's gonna be mamacita. She's gonna be shaking her ass. You're gonna see some white women, but you know, it's gonna be less. They're usually white trash, or like, you know, little college girls that ran away from their daddy. You know, they want to spit in daddy's face, right? But the majority of the women that you're gonna see in them clubs are Jake women, Southern Kingdom, Northern Kingdom. You know, we're gonna see them in there. The Chinese hoes, yeah, you know, there's certain, but the predominant is the Brazilians, the Puerto Ricans, okay, them Judites. They're gonna be up in the Magic City timing, man. King of Diamonds timing, you know. And it says, keep a sure watch over a shameless daughter, lest she make thee a laughing stock to thy enemies. You're a laughing stock to your enemies when your daughter is a hoe. Could that make you look as a man? You failed, playboy. You failed. That's your daughter, and she over there getting her train ran on her, man. Okay, this is the world we live in. This is the world we live in, baby boy. You gotta gird up your loins like a man. All right. The church pastor ain't talking about none of this shit. Like Trail would say, the brother Howard Stein the ball. Like he would say, your church pastor ain't saying that. Why pack the pork chop said it? That brother funny. Hey man, but yeah, man. Why they ain't this is the real world. This is reality we living in. Why these fucking pork chop pastors and these people ain't talking about nothing like this? Because they're a bunch of whores and sluts too. Okay? Yeah, the strip club is not a righteous thing. That's a fucking wicked ass trap, man. Okay? The strip club, the whoredom, all this shit has been a product of feminism. Now it's normalized for your women to walk around naked outside. Titties out, ass out. That ain't nothing. When I see that, I think about STDs. That's what I think about. I think about unwanted pregnancies. I think about broken homes. I think about STDs, a short life. That's what I think about. A woman with no clothes on leads to what? Whoredom and STDs. Okay? Rape. All right? Potentially somebody raping her. You know, I'm just, men gotta control themselves. Look, men are like fucking wild animals, most of them, especially young, all right, old, whatever. But they're like wild animals. Okay. If you present a bunch of meat, I got my dog right here. If you put a bunch of meat right in front of my dog, you expect the dog to not eat it? Oh well, I'm gonna get mad at the dog because the dog couldn't control itself. You know? Oh damn, dog! You should have controlled yourself. Hey, what do you expect, man? You know? This is why these things happen. This is why these women go on these trips. They go to fucking Cabo. They go to Mexico. They go all over the place. Mexico. They go to fucking the Virgin Islands. All right. They go to goddamn Cuba. I mean, not Cuba. They go to Turks and Caicos. You know, they go all over the place. They end up dead, like Natalie Holloway. Remember back in the day? Like, but you got all kind of cases like this. They end up dead. Some nigga raped them, put them in the ocean. You know, and then you know you get mad at them, but you got to be mad at yourself for being a loose woman, for not being wise. The scriptures speak about a woman keeping her foot in her house, man. All right. It says, keep a sure watch over a shameless daughter, lest she make thee a laughingstock to thy enemies, and a byword in the city, and a reproach amongst the people, and make thee ashamed before the multitude. Behold, not everybody's beauty, and sit not in the midst of women, for from garments cometh the mouth, and from women wickedness. Right. So with that being the case, they have to be up under order. They have to be up under structure. Nobody hates women, but they have to be righteous. They have to be up under a righteous order, a righteous set of rules that we're going to establish upon our earth, you know? Because this shit don't work. The feminism doesn't work, my boy. America and the way that these white people, these Edomites have trained you women up, this shit does not work. Do you understand? This shit does not work, man. Nobody's fucking happy under this system. Okay? Nobody's happy under this system. You know when you're gonna be happy? When they up under our way of life in the kingdom. They're gonna be real happy. They're never gonna fucking work. They're never gonna have to worry about no fucking bills. They're never gonna have to sell OnlyFans pictures and sell putty online. They're never gonna have to go and get raped by some nigga. Okay, potentially. All right. They're never gonna have to go and get pissed on in Dubai. They're gonna be taken care of, Playboy. All right.
And feminists that almost all of them abandoned their families, left their children. Sanger also left her husband holding the bag for her. He went to jail for her on her behalf while she took off to Europe. And her own children blamed her for their sister's death. Her sons blamed her for her sister's death because they said, mother would leave us with anyone. Mm-hmm. She didn't really care. She'd leave us anywhere with anyone, just so long as she could go off and do whatever.
Yeah, they talking about Margaret Sanger, the little demon that was used as a poster child for this feminist movement. Margaret Sanger, the godmother or the mother of birth control, which birth control does more harm than good than what it does. Just wear a condom. You know what I mean? Or work on your pull-out game, man. You know. But the birth control is gonna do you dirty. Ultimately, in the long run, you know, it's gonna destroy your insides. That was not created as the Lord didn't put no birth control in you, man. He said, be fruitful and multiply. But in this society, you got to be careful because the kids and whatever, you know, too much money, blah, blah, blah. It's too much work. All right. But that's why you have other methods, you know. But hey, at the end of the day, we're under the curses, man. Okay. This is part of the curse. It's part of the curse. In the kingdom, we ain't going to worry about none of this. We're going to have thousands of children, man. Millions of children, man. Billions of children, man.
Wanted to do when she's in Europe.
Hey, the Lord said, matter of fact, judge no man in his it says a man shall be known in his children, right? A man shall be known. That's the blessing of children. But the Lord has cursed you and made your children be bugged out against you. All right. So why would you want to have a bunch of, you know what I'm saying? That's why I said Sirach 16. It speaks about that's why it says in Sirach 16, it speaks about desire not a multitude of unprofitable children, except the fear of the Lord be in them. So in the kingdom, we're gonna have children with the fear of the Lord in them. But right now, you want to have a bunch of 15 kids, so they can all be demons. You ain't gonna have no money to take care of them. You know what I'm saying? You look, in the kingdom, we worry about all that. All right. Worry about it. Right now, hey, we got to get ourselves right. We don't even have the substance for all that, man. A man shall be known in his children. All right. That's a blessing. If you don't know a man's truly blessed, you should know him in his children. Sirach 11:28. Judge none blessed before his death, for a man shall be known in his children. All right. Judge not none blessed before his death, for a man shall be known in his children. All right.
Having these orgiastic relationships with all kinds of other prominent elites like H.G. Wells and Havelock Ellis, who, you know, are very degenerate people. If you read the book, you find out all kinds of disgusting stuff about those folks too. And even dabbling in things like Rosicrucianism to try to contact the spirit of her dead daughter to try to apologize.
So Margaret Sanger, the mother of birth control and feminism, was a occultist, just like all of these devils are. All this shit is satanic left-hand side philosophy. That's why I started with Revelation 17 chapter. All right.
For the neglect that led to her death. But yes, it was a very common theme among these women that they get radicalized to think, oh, I must be the hero of women and liberate them from what? I guess from the people in their lives that love them the most and want to protect them, their fathers, their husbands, and from their own children who are.
You know what they made you believe? That man is evil. A nigga is evil. A man is evil. He's evil. That's what feminism is. It's the patriarchy. Oh, they're oppressing us, man. They won't let us, have the same positions as them. You're not meant to have the same position as me, man. You're not meant to run the government. You're not meant to fight bears and shit. You're not meant to go and gather food. That's not your fucking job, man. That's not what you're supposed to do, man. You're not meant to wage wars and shit, and build stuff. You're supposed to build the house, man. Build the nation. Be a mother, trying to be a man, trying to wear Timbs and go out there on a construction site. At my job, bro, there's literally like 4 or 5 dykes, man. I'm like, what the fuck is wrong with these bitches, man? They crazy as hell. And they bug the fuck out. You talk to them and they bug the hell out. They're talking to themselves and shit. They're smoking all kind of weed at the job, All right, they don't last, man. They leave, they're confused, man. You can say a double-minded man is unstable in all his ways. James 1:8. You trying to be a man and a woman at the same time, Oh yeah, well, and then if the bitch say something and you punch her in the mouth, then she gonna act like a woman. Oh, you can't do that to me. Well, you's a nigga, right? You can't do that to me, man. I'm a woman. I'm a girl.
Them back from being free and liberated. It was just like a very common theme I found over and over again.
Right. Abortion is freedom, and freedom from your family and all of that. And you actually tell the story of since abortion has been legalized, deaths have gone up because it's more prevalent. They don't tell us how dangerous it is. So is that really one, informed consent, and is that freedom? And then we see these Hollywood actresses saying,
yeah. Let's talk about that freedom. The guise of freedom. Freedom, man. Freedom, Playboy. Huh? Freedom. See, that's freeing to you. No. It's destroying you, man. It's destroying you. This place is the guise of freedom to destroy yourself, man. Because you don't know nothing. You don't know what the fuck is going on. You need order and structure, man. That's why the Lord gonna come bring his government down here, man. Because the human race don't know what the fuck they're doing. Jake don't know what they're doing. So the Lord gonna rule through Israel, man. He gonna rule through the Israelites, his chosen people, chosen vessels.
because I can have abortions, I can live this great life and win Oscars and look at me. Is that an archetype we would want our daughters? I have 2 daughters that we would want our daughters to say, look what you can do. You want to respond to that? I didn't really ask you a question, but let's have a conversation.
It's the reason I'm doing this. If you look at birth rates right now around the world, it's not just in the West anymore, all but a handful of African countries, we are all well below replacement, to the point that societies like South Korea, which has a birth rate of 0.7 children per woman right now, the average South Korean woman isn't even replacing herself. In a couple hundred years, there won't be a South Korea. And for what? So that all the women can have office jobs, so that you talked about Sex in the City. We've been painted this picture of women's liberation that we're all going to be a Samantha or a Charlotte, or we're gonna have the corner office, and we're going to close the deal over brunch in Paris, and we're going to have this glamorous life as these powerful working women. And that's not the reality for the vast majority of us. Most of us are stuck in a two income trap where we do have 1 or 2 children that we'd like to be with, but we can't afford to stay home anymore because we have created a two-income economy by pushing all of the women into the workforce in such a short period of time. It's the number one reason. Not that there aren't some other economic factors, of course there are, but far and away, it's the biggest change we've made is that historically, we didn't push mothers to work all day and send their children to daycare to be raised. And that's what we've done now. So we were sold this dream that we're going to have all this freedom, we're going to have this great life, and that's not what it is. For most of us, it ends up trying to be juggling everything. It ends up, being a slave to your corporate job and serving your boss at work rather than your husband or your family at home. And we're doing a lot of the same work we did before women's liberation. Most of us are things like nurses, daycare workers, early childhood educators. You might work a retail job, you might do clerical work or bookkeeping. Those are still the most commonly held jobs for women, despite decades of trying to force them to be CEOs and push them into STEM fields. Women don't really, for the most part, want to do those things. They end up doing a lot of the things that they used to do for their family and community, although now they get their income taxed. They have to pay for childcare, and their children are being raised in compulsory public education systems. So the folks that really funded and pushed first wave feminism, that pushed the 19th Amendment through, that started the first women's magazines and all the propaganda in the early 20th century and the late 1900s, were progressive industrialists like the Vanderbilts and the Carnegies and the Rockefellers. And that's not a coincidence. It was the same people who met in secret at the Jekyll Island Club to create the Federal Reserve.
Hold on. The same people that created the Federal Reserve and then went to the creature from Jekyll Island. To see, after you get the money, after you get the control of the money, what's next? You got other parts of the plan to control the world. So you got to get the women, you got to get the kids, you got to get the men and to be gays and, do all this other shit. You got to do it. You got to control the people. So you make the men moles, you make the women men, you put them in the workforce, you tax the shit out of them so the kids can't be raised, the right way. And then you pollute the minds of them to the point most of these motherfuckers are far gone. And they don't even believe that this is the truth, that they've been played. They think that this is just how life is supposed to be. And, shit. It's pleasing to my flesh. And, I'm getting all this attention and, I'm good. So shit, fuck you. You just jealous. You just jealous because you ain't getting up with the attention. You're just jealous. You're jealous of women and you fuck the patriarchy. You're just jealous. That's why niggas ain't shit.
Act to create the public compulsory education system where now you must send your child to public school, where they must be vaccinated, where they must be taught all of the critical race theory and the DEI stuff and the transgenderism. The state gets to teach your children because mom and dad are at work. And this is at the same time that they started the income tax, which a lot of us probably would still find to be pretty unconstitutional. But rather than just taxing dad's income, you can now tax mom's income as well. So they got a lot out of that. They got a huge new pool of cheap labor. They got double the income tax coming in. They got control of the children. And
Yeah. Control over the children, man. Hey, shalom to elder brother. Ariya, it says, Sirach 7:25, marry thy daughter, and so thou shalt perform a weighty matter, but give her unto a man of understanding. That's right. Give your daughter unto a man of understanding, man.
And they also got, the Federal Reserve Act passed, which creates this debt-based economy that we're all enjoying right now. So yeah, it wasn't concern for women. It wasn't that women were unhappy. In fact, the vast majority of women did not want suffrage. They did not want voting rights. They did not want to be involved in political life with men because they could foresee that this was going to cause a lot of problems. The anti-suffragists were actually much bigger in number than pro-suffragists, and they had great arguments as to why they didn't want this.
Do you want to know where to invest $1,000 right now? Goldman Sachs says that Elon Musk's new AI breakthrough could trigger an unprecedented market opportunity. NVIDIA CEO Jensen Huang says what Elon and his team has achieved is singular. It's never been done before. And White House AI and crypto czar David Sachs says Elon is scaling this technology faster than anyone. But if you want to claim a stake in this AI game changer, you have to act fast. Elon predicts this breakthrough will come out within the first 3 months of 2026. Blink and you'll miss the boat entirely. So, do you want?
But we all like to think that COVID is behind us. Hard to believe it's been 6 years, right?
Was a weakness at this point. That is a mental trap. It makes me want to cry to admit that to you, but I don't mind saying it if it can prevent an entire generation from aiming for that. So that's my confession. I want to talk about the Vanderbilts and the occult and how modern day witchcraft has been woven into the movement. I think the narrative is that this is what most books on witchcraft will tell you today, is that pagans were basically herbal medicine practitioners for healing, for colds, for that kind of thing, and that the Industrial Revolution didn't want them to help women not have babies because they needed to make workers, factory workers, and that's why they were demonized. But really, this next generation of feminists is reclaiming our natural healing abilities. We are rejecting the oppression of Christianity. We're better than everybody. And that feels very much like a narrative that hands power to somebody else while you think that you are empowered. Can you speak to that and how it shows up today in this like cautionary tale of Ariana Grande, who looks like she's being eaten alive by dark magic?
Yes. So it's your confession is the most common one I hear all the time. I think almost every woman born after 1960 falls into this trap because this is the propaganda we're fed from the time we are literally toddlers. Even little kids shows, if you watch children's TV shows, it pushes the girls can do anything boys can do. Girls are actually the stronger, smarter ones. Don't let the boys tell you what you can and can't do. And you need to prove to them that you can do everything they can do. We're really fed this from the time we're so small. It's programming. It's actual literal programming. They want you to think that way. They want you to have this perception of the world that you as a woman have to do.
You a kid, man. You a little boy. And you always got to be competing with the woman. Yeah. See, boys suck and girls rule and all this bullshit. What the fuck is that? That's the serpent's venom. You know, boys rule, girls rule, and boys suck. And see, yeah, ha, and ha. You know, why are you competing with each other, man? Matter of fact, the schools shouldn't even be. They shouldn't even have these mixing schools. It should be boys and girls. All boys school, all girls school, man. You know, that way you wouldn't have all these pregnancies and all this bullshit. You know, it shouldn't be all this nonsense of intermingling and, you know, because that's where you get all these pregnancies and trains running in the bathroom and all kind of shit, man. But a government of a prudent man is not well ordered.
And the reason paganism and witchcraft is such a happy tie-in and it's so easy to connect is because they do view Christianity as patriarchal and oppressive. God the Father himself is the mean dad who doesn't want you to have fun, right? From these women's perspective, that is going to tell you that, you should remain chaste until marriage, that motherhood is holy and should be venerated. We have
motherhood is holy and it should be venerated. And you should get married and wait till you get married. Have sex. That's supposed to be the way of the Most High, man. Not OnlyFans, not whoredom. All right, not bullshit like this. All right, that you've been taught to date different men. You say, I dated this guy and I dated that guy. What kind of woman runs around talking like that? A hoe run around talking like that, man. Talking about, oh, this guy and that guy and this one. And I dated this one. What the fuck is that, man? See, I dated this guy. You should be ashamed of talking about that, man. In reality, according to the Lord, according to the scriptures,
Virgin Mary is our primary icon of what a woman is in Christianity. And she's not a wild, free, powerful, sexy person who has control over men through her sexuality. It's quite the opposite. So if you reject that as oppression, it's very natural to gravitate right towards the polar opposite, which would be paganism and witchcraft, and this idea that through our sexuality and through things like herbal medicine or spellcraft, or you see girls all over TikTok now with crystals and doing moon rituals during certain moon phases, and even with their menstrual cycle and all kinds of crazy things. Ritual abortions. You can go to TikTok right now and see girls in their 20s teaching you how to do ritual magic with your abortion. It's incredibly popular. If you're a little bit older, like
incredibly dangerous.
It's awful, and it's extremely popular. I think I did a whole stream on this with my friend, Dr. David Patrick Harry, who's a religious studies PhD. And
so they got whole. This place is so wicked. This place so wicked. They got abortion ritual magic that these women would do. They'll show other women like on TikTok or whatever. I don't know. I haven't searched the shit up. I'm gonna go search it up after I'm done with the lesson. But they got where they literally doing ritual abortions, right, to try to help get rid of the baby. Hey man, boy, these people are wicked, man. This is why the Lord gonna destroy this fucking place, man. These jakes are wicked as hell. The heathen. All right, we're living in Babylon, the great Sodom and Gomorrah. All right, all wrapped up into one whore known as the daughter of Babylon, man. America, which controls the world. Revelation 17. Again, let's read Revelation 17. It says, the second verse, with whom the kings of the earth have committed fornication. Come hither, I will show unto thee the judgment of the great whore, which sitteth upon many waters, with whom the kings of the earth have committed fornication, and the inhabitants of the earth have been made drunk with the wine of her fornication. Feminism, one of the wine that she drunk, that she gave them to drink. Scriptures say, woe to you that give your neighbor a wine to drink. To your neighbor. They said a stumbling block. Woe unto him, Habakkuk 2:15. Feminism is one. Capitalism is another. All right. The secular. Another one is evolution. That's another one of the wine that they've given to people to drink. They believe in the evolution theory, Darwinism, right? All these different things, communism, right? All these isms, all these different isms, these ways of life that Esau has created. All that shit failed, and it's all been proven to be faulty. Okay, it's all been proven to be faulty. The Lord gonna bring His government on the earth, all right, and we're gonna live in perfect harmony, man. And you're going to say, how does that work? How does that look? You're going to see when the Lord comes. We're going to see how it works. We're going to see how the order of the government is going to be. But it's going to be perfect. It's going to be perfect. There don't be no fucking democracy, people voting. Oh, democracy. That's another wine. That's another wine of her fornication. Democracy. People believe in that. America is not a democracy. America is definitely not a democracy. The other countries, they do vote. Certain countries, they have their little voting and shit like that. But even those elections are rigged and set up and, falsified. So that shit doesn't fucking work, man. That shit does not work. None of these man-made religions and monarchies and all that shit, man-made governments, none of them worked, man. Dictatorship didn't work because the dictator just start killing every fucking body. You know what I'm saying? That disagrees with them and all that. Just start raping, taking people's women like Trujillo and Dominican Republic and, many other scenarios. So that shit works. So Habakkuk 2:13, behold, it is not of the Lord of hosts that the people shall labor in the very fire, and the people shall weary themselves for very vanity. The people are wearying themselves for very vanity. Vanity, vanity, said the preacher. Vanity. You got something called consumerism, all right, in this society. These people are in vanity. They work to buy shit they don't need. All right. And you're programmed through these ads and through the fucking TV and through the pride of life, right? That this is what you need to be successful. The Tesla truck comes out and I need to buy that shit immediately so I can put it in front of my house so niggas think I'm cool. I need to have the latest Jordan came out. I need to have the latest iPhone, even though it's the same shit as the 13 that it was like from 5 years ago, 4 years ago. I need to have look, I got the 24 Ultra right here, man. You think I'm going to get the 26? Fuck that. if anything, I probably keep this thing till it breaks or till you know what I'm saying, till the Lord comes, man. But this thing right here is still a good phone, man. Battery still works perfectly fine. It's very fast and speedy. The processor is good, so I don't need to change the phone. I don't need to. I would like to, but that would be an expense that wouldn't be wise. I would spend $1,200 on a phone that I don't fucking need. But that's the consumerism, the capitalist vain world that we live in, man. That the serpent set up. So, anyways, it says, "Behold, is it not of the Lord of hosts that the people shall labor in the very fire, and the people shall wear themselves for very vanity? For the earth shall be filled with the knowledge of the Lord, or the glory of the Most High, as the waters cover the sea. Woe unto him that giveth his neighbor drink, that putteth the bottle to him, and maketh him drunken, also that thou mayest look on their nakedness." All right, they've given these people the wine to drink, especially Jacob, especially Israel. Now you're the number one target. Psalms 10 is tell you that in Psalms 10. It says that his eyes are privily set against the poor. That means that primary target is the Jacob, the Israelite, the Negro, and the Hispanic.
Tag witch talk and ritual abortion. So it's very popular among the younger girls. And it's perfect because it gives you this message that, hey, men might be bigger and stronger, but through sexual manipulation and using your sexual prowess, and then through things like witchcraft and spellcraft, you can determine your own destiny. You can be the one that's in power, and you can have power over men through these means, even though you might not be as big and strong as they are. And it's very appealing to young women who have been told that there's this secret conspiracy among men to keep them down.
No, ain't no secret conspiracy. The Most High set this up, that you're up under a man. Ain't no fucking secret conspiracy. Oh, they hate us. They hate men. Men are oppressive and fuck men, and they ain't shit. And all they do is beat us and all this other shit. No, they don't. No, they don't. They'll make sure that you're protected. All right. They make sure that another wolf don't come around and rape you. They make sure you have a house to live in. They make sure you have a food to eat. You know, they make sure that phone that you take them pictures with to send to niggas, that phone that's your lifeline. You know, that's your cash cow. They're the ones that created that everything you got. So how the hell is they oppressing you? You know, oh, the men have oppressed us. What are you talking about, man? That's some bullshit, man. The men are oppressing us. No, you're oppressing yourselves. You're destroying yourselves. And that serpent helped destroy you. You went after the serpent. Again, 1 Timothy 2 and 12. I suffer not a woman to teach. What that mean? That woman is not supposed to be running her mouth, talking about feminism, talking about she's a pastor, talking about making decisions on any type of real level. In a family, she can make a decision, right? If based upon her husband, asking her husband. But I'm talking about in society, ain't no woman supposed to be on no position of power. Ain't no, in the kingdom of heaven, we don't have no Deborahs, okay? Running things. We were in a low spot back then, all right, with Gideon. And even when Deborah was on the seat, she still had who's the name? Barak. She still had Barak with her. She wasn't making decisions by herself. If she was by herself, she probably got murdered or raped by somebody. All right. Somebody would have took her out of the seat, man. She was by herself. She had to have a man up there to help her rule, you know. But anyways, it says, I suffer not a woman to teach. Women ain't supposed to teach or usurp the authority over the man, but to be in silence. For Adam was first formed. The Most High created Adam, the man, and then Eve. And Adam was not deceived. Adam was not deceived by the serpent. Eve, the woman, was deceived, being in the transgression. Okay? Notwithstanding, okay, she shall be saved in childbearing if they continue in faith and holiness with sobriety. Okay, so the woman be saved to have our children, not so she could run her mouth and be some usurper of the authority of the Israelite man. Micah 7:9, I will bear the indignation of the Lord because I have sinned against the Shalom, bro. You wanted that, man. Shalom to you, bro. Because I have sinned against him. All right, y'all better shout broke a thumb to all you brothers. And you few women that's in the right mindset. Not you birds. You birds, you get up out of here, man. You got this feminist mindset, you get the fuck up out of here. All right, because you're gonna die with that feminist mindset. The spirit gonna find you out and you're gonna get cut off from amongst the living. You're in that feminist spirit, that's a satanic, occultist fucking mindset, man. That's the mindset of the serpent. A fucking feminist mindset. And some of you bring that into this truth, and that shit gonna be eradicated out of the house of the Lord, man. That feminist bullshit mindset that you women bring into this truth. You're gonna respect the man, and you're gonna respect the order of the Lord Yahweh and his son Yahweh Shai, man. And if you don't like, you kick rocks, man. You go to a serpent, man. Because a lot of you women, I can feel in the spirit, you have a problem with brothers. You have a problem with men such as myself. You have brothers. You have a problem with brothers, man. Because we get on the women, because we bring forth order, because we rebuke and reprove. You have a problem. And you can fuck off too, man. You go and find some nigga in Pookie and he'll give you AIDS. That's what you could go find, man. Anyways, I will bear the indignation of the Lord, Micah 7:9, because I have sinned against the Lord, man. We have sinned against the Lord, so the Lord said, Jeremiah 31:22, a woman will compass a man. That's why she's compassing you, because you sinned against the Lord. That's why she cheat on you. That's why she talks shit. That's why she run her mouth, because as you did to me, I'm going to do to you. So I'm going to let that woman compass you, man, on the earth. She going to make more money than you. She going to have a better job than you. She going to have an easier life than you. She going to be exalted on a pedestal. If she posts a picture, she's going to get 1,000 likes in 2 seconds and nobody going to look at you. You see, you're not going to be the it no more. The bitch is going to be it. She's it. She's the one on the pedestal. But in the kingdom of heaven, we going to be on the pedestal. Revelation 13:12. Okay, I'll make a man more precious than fine gold and the golden wedge of Ophir. All right. So it says, until he plead my cause, I will bear the indignation of the Lord, the anger of the Most High, the curses. That's what we're doing. We're keeping the Lord's testimonies and afflictions. Until he plead my cause and execute judgment for me, he will bring me forth to the light, to the truth, and I shall behold his righteousness. You shall see the king in his beauty. As said Isaiah 33, that's that 17, 18. So I will behold his righteousness. Then she that is my enemy shall see it. She's going to see it. She's going to see that we're men of the Lord. She's going to see that God's order is a righteous order. She's going to see that the serpent has lied to her. She's going to see that she has to be up under a man for her own good. She'll be saved in childbearing and sobriety if she continue with holiness. As says, we just read 1 Timothy 2:16. Okay. So it says, then she that is my enemy shall see it, and shame shall cover her, which said unto me, where is the Lord thy God? My eyes shall behold her, now shall be trodden down as the mire of the streets. That's for you feminist bitches. That's for you damn rebellious Eves. Okay, you rebellious little demons that got a problem with brothers bringing forth the truth, bring forth the order of the Lord. Okay, that hate the truth, that hate the gospel, that hate order, that hate righteousness, that love prostitution and whoredom and OnlyFans and wickedness. That's for you. You can be tread down in the mire of the streets. Because the only way these bitches learn is judgment, man. They got to get judged and then they learn, man. They got to get their ass beat or they got to get destroyed. They got to put to death. They got to get Lot's wife treatment. Okay. They can't just follow. They can't just humble themselves and say, this, look, the Most High is dealing with this man. You know, I need a husband. I need a man, you know. No. Fuck that. Lot is a man of the Lord and she turns her back on Lot. No, you're supposed to follow your man, man. To the death. You're supposed to follow the man. You know, but no, you're going to follow the serpent. So go with the serpent, man. You know, Proverbs 7 and 1. I'm gonna keep playing this. You know, there's a lot of meat up in here. It's only been halfway through the video. This thing might be 2 hours, but I got to get up out of here. But about 23 minutes in. All right, this is a great video. It's a great video. Satanic occult feminism. That's what this is. A satanic wine that has been given poison. Psalms 140:3, poison. All right. This is what's in these devils' tongues. Poison.
To prevent them from.
Hey, like that one Bill B. DeVoe song. Poison. That girl poison. She been poisoned, man. Poison. She been poisoned. And your mind been poisoned as a man. We wasn't even raised to be men. We didn't even know how to deal with women. You know, we didn't even know until experience. Scripture tell you, Sirach 41. Speaks about a man travailing much, have much experience. No, 34. I'm thinking about 34. He that travailed much, have much experience, right? 34, I'm thinking about. Salakia.
Any part that men just want you to be a sex robot, like in the Stepford Wives. They just want you in the kitchen baking them a casserole, and they want to use you and abuse you and throw you.
Whoa. What is the natural use of the woman? Romans 1:26, man. The natural use is not for her to be a boss bitch, man. That's not the natural use. What's wrong with a woman being pregnant in the kitchen cooking? What's wrong with that? Oh, but it's okay for her to be on a pole spreading STDs to people. You know, trapping men with her looks outside in the street. That's supposed to be righteous. That's supposed to be liberating. No. What's righteous is her being pregnant with a husband. That's righteous. Cook a meal. Cook me my meal. That's righteous. Make sure I'm taken care of. Empty balls and a full stomach. That's righteous. You know, not whoredom. You know, calling niggas up. Oh yeah, $200 for an in call. You know, $300. You know. $20 for feet pictures. That's not fucking righteous.
You get power over them. This is how you
10 niggas in a day come in and out the crib, busting them cheeks. That ain't righteous. That ain't righteous. What's righteous is you being wife number 3, number 4, number 5. Yes, that's righteous. That's righteous. Oh, he has a wife. He's married. Oh, fucking well. He has a God-given right to have as many women as the Lord could provide, and he could provide for them. You know, that's a God-given right. What's better, him having 4 or 5 wives, or these women being whores and sluts in the street? What's better than that, man? What's better, 1,000 women being with one man, or all these hoes running around the earth in Magic City clothing and whoring around and jumping from nigga to nigga, getting divorced over and over? What's better, Playboy? What's better? You geniuses? You got a problem with man having multiple women? What's better? Your mama wouldn't have ended up the way she was if she wasn't jumping around niggas. You would know who your daddy was if she had a husband or he had other women. Oh well, that's part of a man's legacy. That's part of a man's. Why do you think when you grow up, you as a man, you got this horny testosterone running on you, and you trying to pop everything that moves? Because it's in your nature to have many women. It's in your nature. We're being oppressed here, you know, in a society where you are legally bound, you know, according to them, you know, that you can only marry one. You know, This is oppression. This society is oppression. Okay, they're telling you that it's wicked. You know, but it's righteous for you to have a fucking man relationship, situations, you know what I'm saying? A bromance, you know. It's okay for you to swing swords with each other, but hey, if you have other women, that's a fucking crime against humanity. You know, you could be a Mo, and that's not a crime against humanity. That's not hate speech. That's hate speech right there. That's hateful. That's wicked. You know? That's wicked as hell. Yeah. That's wicked as hell.
avoid being victimized. So it's a narrative that starts when they're really, really young, programming that they see through all of pop culture, like you mentioned, Ariana Grande. Name one prominent female pop star, rapper, movie actress, any prominent female woman out there is going to be giving you this girl boss message.
Yes. You ain't gonna be no woman, and you're gonna be pushing. If they're gonna put you on a pedestal, I don't care who it is. I don't care if it's Ray. I don't care if it's Ariana Grande. I don't care if it's Cynthia Erivo. All them hoes are witches. All witches. All witches. Kali Uchis, Beyonce. Anyone that women look up to is gonna be a witch and a whore, telling them that you don't need a husband, and you fuck them, fuck the patriarchy. You know, free the titty, go out there, have fun. You know, that's what they're paid to do. These paid puppets. Nobody, these people are good role models for you. They're out there with their ass cheeks out. That's not a good role model. Green hair and pink hair. That's not a good role model. Tattoos all over themselves, face tattoos and, you know, baby mama dramas. That's not good role models. They're not good role models. They're paid to destroy you. They're getting checks. They're getting checks. But they themselves are destroyed too. Because when they go home, they crying to their mama, talking about why I hate myself, even though I'm living in a mansion the size of a fucking football stadium. You know, but they all depressed though. They're all depressed. All them niggas are depressed. These women are depressed. These men are depressed. They're all fucked up because they don't know the Lord. They don't know this truth. They don't know. They don't have hope. As we did the lesson the other day about hope. See, without hope, your ass is through. Without knowledge, wisdom, understanding, your ass is through. Proverbs 7. It says, my son, keep my words and lay up my commandments with thee. Why you can't be a whore and a slut? Why there's a prostitution and wickedness? Why is being a pimp and a whoremonger, why is that unrighteous? Why when you go around fucking around and sleeping with all kind of shit that destroys you, even as a man, that destroys you. You have to have, the Lord told you to have many women, have many wives. You can have wives, but when you go around popping men's women and having one night stands, all that shit destroys you inside. Even as a man, a woman, come on now, but a man, even as a man, I've been there and I've done that. So I could tell you from personal fucking experience that ain't none of that shit righteous. Ain't none of that shit good. And ain't none of that shit conducive to success. The Lord, when he was on the scene, he wasn't doing that shit. Matter of fact, he didn't even touch women. The Apostle Paul didn't even touch women because that shit destroys you. Not saying that being with women is wrong, but look, the scriptures say all things are lawful unto me, but all things are not expedient. All that shit is nothing but vanity in your flesh. That's wicked as hell. Anyways, your flesh is wicked. So once you've done busting and whatever, you come to find out that I just wasted a bunch of money. I just did, what the fuck am I doing? You know, you could potentially, you know what I'm saying, open yourself up to all kind of diseases and all kinds of shit. So you don't want to delve in all that. Plus your inner, your spirit is not going to be right. It's not, you're not going to feel good about yourself. It's just these niggas that do all this shit, bro, they're not happy inside, man. I guarantee you that they're not fucking happy. All these dudes that are gigolos and they got a bunch of look, man, they're not satisfied within themselves. They're not even right in the spirit, man. So the Lord wasn't running around doing all this shit, man. And there's a reason why he gave us commandments. That's why the scriptures clearly tell us about these different things, man. Sexual immorality, man. That's why the scriptures speak about these things. Marriage is honorable in all things, the bed undefiled, but whoremongers and adulterers the Most High would judge. I tell you that in Hebrews, the 13th chapter. What's that, the 4th verse? Is a reason why these things are in here. Now, you may not like to hear this because you're a man in the flesh and because you want to go do your thing and fucking Houston and party it up and do all this other shit and fucking Miami and here, there. But what's going to happen eventually is that you're going to realize that that shit is nothing but vanity. It ain't nothing profitable. And it's going to fucking destroy you. All right. Just like it's destroyed all these niggas in the porn industry. You think them niggas is happy? Them niggas fucking around with all them type of hoes and shit. Them niggas is not happy, man. Eventually they quit that shit and they go try to find a family or but usually they're too fucked up and gone. A lot of them whores in the porn industry and all that, they kill themselves because of the demons that comes with this shit. This shit comes with demons. All right. It's not just, hey man, you know, having fun, all this shit. Hey, eventually them demons gonna hop on you. You're gonna start bugging out, and some of these people kill themselves. All right. So, my son, keep my words, lay up my commandments with thee. I gave you straight instructions. All right. I told you not to be a freak and a whoremonger. I told you women not to be sluts and whores. There's a reason why. And if you go off and you do that shit, I'm gonna judge you. I'm gonna give you STDs. I'm gonna fuck your ass up. You're gonna get pregnant. You're gonna have abortions. You're gonna be all fucked up in the head. You're gonna be all fucked up in the head. The Lord will stop dealing with you if you don't have sexual discipline, man. The Lord will take his spirit from you because you're being deceitful. You're being wicked. Okay? You can't control yourself. Hey, the Lord will stop dealing with you, man. If your ass look at what happened with Alizé. Look, I'm just using him as an example. Alizé was a freaky dude. All right. And eventually he started doing other shit and he had his wife touch on him and all kind of shit with the white men, all that shit. That shit was because he couldn't control himself, man. You understand what I'm saying? The man could not control himself. All right. You have many cases where men fall because of women. Many have gone out there lust. The scriptures say 1 Ezra 4:26 have run out their wits for women, become servant for their sakes, man. So the scriptures speak about a man ruling his spirit. He's better than he that take a city. All right. A sexual immorality and all these things are one of the biggest downfalls of men. All right. The number one downfall, I should say. All right. It says, keep my commandments and live in my law as the apple of thy eye. Bind them upon thy fingers and write them upon the table of thine heart. Say unto wisdom, thou art my sister, and call understanding thy kinswoman, that they may keep thee from the strange woman and from the stranger that flatter with her words. That's talking about Esau and his philosophies, and that's talking about the actual physical women out here too, because Satan uses their asses too to get at you, all right? Because they know how to get you. They know how to pull you out of the truth. A lot of dudes have fell out the truth because of women, all right? They stopped doing the work. You know, they got destroyed, bank accounts fucked up, all depleted. You know, they getting caught diseases. Their physical body itself starts decomposing because they done caught some shit from some women, all right? It says, for at the window of my house, I looked through my casement, and behold, among the simple ones, I discerned among the youths a young man void of understanding, passing through the street from her corner, and he went through to her house in the twilight, in the evening, in the black and dark night, And behold, there met him a woman with the attire of a harlot, subtile of heart. She is loud and stubborn, her feet abide not in her house. Now she is without, and now in the street, and lieth in the way at every corner. And so she caught him and kissed him. And with an impudent face, she said unto him, I have peace offerings with me. This day I have paid my vows. Therefore I came forth to meet thee, diligently to seek thy face, and I have found thee. I have decked my bed with coverings of tapestry and with carved works with the fine linen of Egypt. I have perfumed my bed with myrrh and aloes and cinnamon. Come, let us take our fill of our love until the morning. Let us solace ourselves with love. For the good man is not at home, and he's gone a long journey. So your guy is not here. Esau, this is what Esau told you in the garden. Esau said, hey, man, you don't need a man. Okay, that's a satanic, feminist, occultish philosophy. That's what Eve was told in the garden. You don't need no man. You don't need to keep the Lord's commandments. What did the Lord say? Man, forget about it. No. The scriptures say that you shall obey me. Okay, you shall have no other gods before me. You're going to obey my words. Okay, and it shall be health to you. You know, if you obey and serve me, the scripture tell you you're going to spend your days in prosperity and your years in pleasure. Job 36:11. But if you go astray, you're going to be worse than the heathen. You're going to be lower than the Edomite. Okay. It says the good man is not at home. He is gone a long journey. He have taken a bag of money with him and will come home at the day appointed. With her much fair speech, she caused him to yield, and with flattering of her lips, she forced him. So Esau has flattered with his lips, has destroyed these women, has destroyed these men. You got grown men talking about it's okay for you to suck another man off, for you to touch on another man, for you to fucking touch. Brother, come on, man. Bro, this whole society, damn near most of these niggas are gay. Right? Most of these niggas are soft sissy boys. Okay. These women are carpet munchers, and there's nothing wrong with that in their eyes. This society you're the hateful one. You're the wicked one. You're the wicked one. You're the hateful. You are not tolerant. Okay. You and your hateful guide and your hateful book does not tolerate people and their ways of life. Fuck you, man. Okay. That's not the ways of truth. That's not the ways that the Lord set up, man. I don't have to agree with your bullshit, and you're not going to seduce me. Like, you're not going to give me, I'm not one of these weak-minded niggas, okay, that's going to succumb to your bullshit, okay? The scripture tell you we are not of them that draw back, but that believe to the saving of the soul. For us to be saved, we have to stand strong on the principles of the truth, of the gospel, of the prophecies, man, of the Lord's word, man. So this bullshit feminism and this serpent's venom that these motherfuckers are pushing, all right, that 2/3 of our people succumb to, all right, is not going to deceive the very elect, as the scriptures tell you, man. If it was at all possible, they would deceive the very elect, man. You know, I tell you in Matthew the 24th chapter. So with much fair speech, Proverbs 7:21, with much fair speech, she caused him to yield. With the flattering of her lips, she forced him. He goeth after her straightway as an ox to the slaughter, or as a fool to the correction of the stocks, till a dart strike through his liver, as a bird hastes to the snare, and knoweth not that it is for his life. Hearken unto me now, therefore, O my children, and attend to the words of my mouth, and let not thine heart decline to go to her ways, and go not astray in her paths, for she have cast down many wounded. Yeah, many strong men shall have been slain by her. Her house is the highway to hell, going down to the chambers of death.
Taylor Swift and Beyonce to the Kardashians. It's always, you must have your own money and your own power, and this is how you get it through. Start an OnlyFans, start an OnlyFans, girl, and get out there and get your bag and show these men who's boss.
Right.
And so witchcraft ties into that so easily. And a lot of them don't think they're truly contacting dark forces and doing those sort of things. And you might not believe in that either. That's not what's important. What's important is that they believe it and they're willing to do it, even if it's sold to them as something else. They think it's pretty harmless. I'm just manifesting my reality. I'm just projecting.
This is why Isaiah 4:1, man. This is why Isaiah 4:1. I remember first coming to the truth. I heard about Isaiah 4:1, and it's yeah. Of course, everyone wants women. They're good looking and all that shit. But when you get older, when you seasoned in the truth, you find out that Isaiah 4:1 is not about just smashing. Isaiah 4:1 is about these women. Actually, they're getting to coming after you. When they get you, they get a man of understanding. You could get many women. Women are replaceable. All right. But what they're getting is a man of understanding, a pillar of rest, a hiding place from the wind, as I tell you in Isaiah 32. When these women come to you, they're getting what they never had, a real man, a protection. So when Isaiah 4:1 comes to play, all right, it's not about just smashing. It's about these women having a leader, a guide, a man that's going to provide for them mentally, stability, give them mental stability. Scripture say Isaiah 33:6, wisdom and knowledge should be the stability of thy times, the strength of thy salvation, the fear of the Lord is his treasure. So here it is. The man is the rock, the foundation. Like I said, Sirach 3:9. The curse of the mother ruled out foundation, but the blessing of the father established the house. So here it is, the Lord is raising up fathers, and he's going to give them Isaiah 4:1. So Isaiah 4:1 ain't just about a freak off. All right, it's about order, marriage, the prelude to the kingdom, man. Because that's going to happen before the kingdom. So these women going to come to you, and you're going to be their rock. All right. You're going to be their covering from the wind. A man shall be a hiding place and a cover from the tempest. That's what it says Isaiah 32. But you silly ones, you look at this as it's just us being freaks. And you know what I'm saying? You just want a bunch of women. Well, that's a man's God-given right anyways. But the point is not you doing a bunch of freaknik activity. The point is, all right, the woman being under order, man. That's the point. The point of a woman cleaving onto a man. That's why it says that you take away our reproach. All right. You take away her fucking reproach, man. You take away them demons that's on her, man. When a woman gets with you, man, you exercising demons off of her, man. And she's exercising demons off of you too. So it's a quid pro quo. It's a quid pro quo. A win-win, for everybody. All right. And that's the reward for the righteous. Isaiah 4:1 is a reward for the righteous men, for the men that stood so stiffly. What
I want into the universe, this kind of new age stuff that they tie in, it sounds very innocent. It doesn't sound like you're summoning dark forces or working with the demonic. I, as a Christian, believe that's what you're doing. But I think these girls get sucked into it under a false pretense that it's cute, like horoscopes. Girls love horoscopes and tarot cards. And it's like,
that's another demonic thing, man. Hey, you meet a bitch, she talking about, what are you, a Scorpio or a zebra? What are you, you're a zebra? Well, I'm an aquarium. And that means that me and you are not compatible. What fucking kind of shit is that? No, we're not compatible because your ass got an attitude and you don't want to submit to a man. That's why we're not compatible. Because you hate God and you hate the order of the scriptures. That's why we're not compatible, because of a motherfucking astrology sign up in the sky. All right. Not because it says right here that you're a zebra. Not because you're a Sagittarius. Shout out to bro Yuwataza, man. Y'all bashin shah bragada. Baraka done to your house, man.
a fun, cool game to them.
But why wouldn't it be?
A woman is silly, man. She's silly, man. Job 39:17, man. Okay, she had the Most High have not imparted onto her understanding. That's why he imparted to you. a man. The Most High created them for your sake, and we are created for the Lord's sake, you know, to serve him on the earth. And these women are created to serve you on the earth as your pillar of rest. You know, the woman by herself serves zero goddamn purpose except to be a whore and a slut and a cash cow for Esau. That's a woman by herself. A cash cow for Esau, a servant, lieutenant to the Edomite. But when she's with her Israelite man, she comes back to being a princess. Understand that?
Part of it is also that they are celebrators of nature. We celebrate the harvest. That's what Samhain is, you know, the end of the fertile system. We celebrate. So it could be harmless in certain people's lives, but it also can sell a life of unhappiness and sexual perversion.
Yeah. So yeah, I'm gonna leave it here, man. A life of unhappiness and sexual perversion. I only got about halfway through the video. This could be a part 2, but Colossians 2 and 4. And this I say, lest any man should beguile you with enticing words like the serpent. For though I be absent in the flesh, yea, I am with you in the spirit, joined and beholding your order and the steadfast of your faith in Yahushua. As ye have therefore received Yahushua Hamashiach the Lord, so walk ye in him, rooted and built up in him, established in the faith as ye have been taught, abounding therein with thanksgiving. Beware, the 8th verse, beware, lest any man spoil you through philosophy and vain deceit, after the tradition of men, after the rudiments of the world, and not after Yahushua. For in him dwelleth all the fullness of the Godhead bodily, and ye are complete in him, which is the head of all principality and power. So beware lest any man spoil you through philosophy and deceit, the serpent's venom. Psalms 140 and 3. Okay. After the tradition of men, after the rudiments of the world, and not after Yahushua. So when the serpent came with Eve, he came with feminism, he came with fucking communism, he came with capitalism, he came with free the titty movements, he came with fuck that nigga, fuck the patriarchy, we don't need this man, he's a bitch and he's oppressing you, all he does is beat you, and all this other bullshit like the Color Purple movie. They make the black man seem like all he does is destroy the woman and keep her down. And see, I'm gonna curse you to God. See, all you do is beat me and all this shit. That's a Hollywood propaganda. That was never the case in the ancient world. We loved our women, man, and we had order, and they loved us back, you know. And it was order in society. It wasn't no fucking freak offs going on. That was in the heathen's land, man. The heathen was doing all that shit in Babylon and the Greek Empire and the Roman Empire and all that shit. That spread through the earth, through the Edomite, man. And these heathen, that's why their ass is going to go into the pit. That's why they're going to go into the cave so they can be re-educated in the ways of God, in the ways of the Israelites, man, in the ways of the scriptures, you know? But anyways, with that, call I'm like Yahweh, by Hashem Yahushai, by Hashem Rakakwadash. And shout out to you elect and you few women that understand order and the true nature of the woman. Shalom.